In this video, we're going to talk about what happens when a guardian ad litem is assigned to your family law case and how to work with a guardian ad litem. My name is Nathan Vining. I'm a criminal defense and family law attorney in Indiana, and I've helped people in numerous custody battles throughout the state of Indiana, and also have worked with a lot of guardian ad litems in these cases. And hopefully by the end of this video, you know a little bit more about the guardian ad litem's role and what you can do if one's assigned. So ultimately, what is a guardian ad litem? They are an advocate that's appointed by the court that represents your child's interest in a custody case. This can be a case that originates out of a paternity case or a divorce case, but the guardian ad litem is the third-party advocate for the child. So ultimately, there is the individual who goes and talks to the child and interviews the child and represents their interest, and they're oftentimes even represented by an attorney who's then that person's advocate in court. And they can be court-appointed, and they're appointed through several different ways, and we're going to talk about that. But their role essentially is to represent the child's interest and look out for their best interest. And what they'll do is generate a report and make recommendations to the court. And they can be appointed a couple different ways. Ultimately, there are cases where the judge may hear some evidence and decide that an advocate needs appointed for the child, because ultimately it's like they're the eyes and ears for the court. So the court essentially says, I need some feet on the ground, I need to see what's going on here. They'll appoint a guardian ad litem. Either party of the case can also request a guardian ad litem, and it's something I do in a lot of cases where I'll put a simple petition together, indicate why we're looking for a guardian ad litem and why we think one needs appointed. And also a custody evaluator. Sometimes there's a therapist that the parties go to who will make custody recommendations. They may indicate that one would be necessary. And there are certain situations, types of cases where guardian ad litems are required. A lot of times guardianships will require one. Certain Department of Child Services cases will also require guardian ad litems as well, who are there to advocate for the children. So ultimately, what do? They go out and investigate. Like I said, they are the eyes and ears for the court. So they oftentimes will talk with the parties, they will talk with the children, they'll also meet with the children and the parents, and then they can also talk to other people such as the child's therapist, the child's teachers, doctors. They will go out and get information and ultimately create a report. And what they will do in this report is make a recommendation to court as to what should happen in this case. And they touch upon a lot of things such as custody, who should make decisions, parenting time, how the time should be split, as well as just other needs. Maybe they would make recommendations that the child should be in therapy, things like that. And it's important to know what they recommend is not binding on the court. It's something the court uses to influence their decision. And this is key because there's cases where sometimes the guardian ad litem report is favorable for the position in the case on the side of the case you're on, and it can help you. There are other times where the guardian ad litem decision may be unfavorable, and it's important to work with an attorney to talk about how you can challenge a guardian ad litem's report. So the guardian ad litems sometimes do cost money. There are county programs that do fund guardian ad litems and can cover some or all of those costs. Other times, one or both parents may pay, and a lot of times at the end of the case, the court will decide ultimately who pays for the guardian ad litem. And ultimately, the guardian ad litem is a party to the case, so they will go into court and they will present testimony as to why they made certain recommendations, and your attorney will be able to ask them questions on the stand and investigate why they did what they did, and either elicit testimony to try and support what the recommendations are or counteract them if they're against you. So if you have a guardian ad litem assigned to your case, there's a lot of things you can do. It's important to know first impressions matter. I would treat it like a job interview, so dress for the occasion. I would dress like you're going to church, and also come prepared, organized. Your attorney can help you create a plan as to what you want to present to them. There also, you can share information with the guardian ad litem. A lot of times somebody will forward me a lot of information, and I also recommend that we get this information to the guardian ad litem. So there can be certain videos that may back up your case. There can be things like report cards, doctor's records. So you're going to want to provide the guardian ad litem with a lot of information that may support your case. They can do a complete and accurate investigation. They will also visit your home, so you're going to want to make sure your house is clean. You're going to want to have a plan for what you can do with the kids when they're there. And because ultimately they're looking at how you interact with your children in the home environment. You're also not going to want to talk to the children about what they should say to the guardian ad litem. You don't want to put your child in the middle of everything. And you're going to also want to stay in touch with the guardian ad litem. You're going to want to keep good communication with them throughout the case. So if you have questions and maybe you need an advocate for your child, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk about how a guardian ad litem could impact your case.